What's good, man? I know it's been a while since I've been live. And as you can see by the title, it says number 54 and the pixelated circle. This is the update. So the last time that you heard about the number 54, I actually talked about it in a negative manner. But the whole reason I'm making this video is just to put everything on record as far as my new discoveries. That way it is out there and it is shown, dated and everything. But last time I talked about it, I did talk about it in a negative manner. I said that I didn't like that number. Well, I got more proof behind what I'm showing today of why I'm going to go back on my word and I don't look at it as something that's negative. I got to look back at other videos that I made where I said that there is no such thing as a negative number. I said that in the past. And being that there's no such thing as a negative number, or, well, bad or evil number, better to say, there's a difference between positive and negative numbers. You have positive numbers and then you have negative numbers. My work expresses the positive and the negative number aspect. The top is the positive, and digging into the ground is the bottom. Number 54, 5, and 4, yes, is at the bottom of my work, and that's why I was looking at it like a negative thing. But I'm about to go ahead and get the screen sharing and showing my whole point of today's presentation. Let's see. How should I start? Because this is freestyle too. I didn't think about this. This is random. All right. Now, and it's gonna be quick. I'm testing myself to see how fast I can be. So, fast, precise, clear, straight to the point. Now, everybody been hearing me recently talk about pixelated circles. That's a term that I actually, I ain't gonna say made up, but it is registered. But this right here is called an octahedron. As far as the shape of the earth, I've been telling people that at the end of the day, my work is gonna reveal that. Either way it go, when it comes down to it, in the end, being that the Nazca lines are showing what they are showing, my work is going to reveal the true shape of the earth. I know nobody has ever been able to definitively say that, but the mathematics, at least I'm proving it. This center part that you have right here, where the four corners is at, where this square plane is at, plane at that, this is where it would be said as far as our living quarters. If the flat earth is 100% accurate, right? We would be right here in this center portion. This is where we will be living at. And that's why I've explained to people when they say that the stars above and everything is connected to a dome. A dome is circular, it's round. This right here is more so a pyramid. And this, when you think about fractals and why the ancients built domes and pyramids, because those are two of the main structures as far as huge architecture that they built that's consistent over all of the lands. You hear about pyramids, but you don't hear about people focusing on the domes like that. You have one dome called Brunelleschi's dome, and that's a real big one. They can't figure out how he even constructed that at that time because they didn't have the technology, right? But anyway, my whole point of bringing that up is because I'm about to explain real clear the fractal essence of what I've been trying to explain, but I haven't had the setup to do so. So right here you have a pyramid, which Polaris, the top point would be up here at the top, correct? That's what would be up there as far as how we see it. All of the other stars that's up above, I've never been up there, so I'm gonna be one to be real with you. I don't make up what's going on up there. I don't even go by necessarily what the ancients were saying completely. I've just never been up there, so I'm not gonna tell you. As far as Saturn, all of the other stars and planets and stuff moving around up there, I'm not gonna act like I know everything that's going up there. How many heavens is above? I've not counted that. I don't know that. The closest thing I could know is the different levels of the atmosphere, and that's something I haven't even witnessed firsthand myself, besides being in the airplane. But anyway, as you can see, that's an octahedron. I'm gonna click on it one more time right there. So now you see that. Imagine the bottom portion cut off or just flat, sitting on in the top pyramid, sitting on top of a table. The table is what shape? It can be circular, or really a table can be any shape that you make it or choose to. The consistency within geometry is 360 degrees. No matter what shape it is that you create, an enclosed shape can always be circle. But anyway, this right here is from the Sri yantra. If I'm pronouncing that correct, it's spelled SRI and then yantra. So this right here is something that is native to Hindu religion, Hindu beliefs and practices, spiritual practices. The symbol that's beneath here, the very Sri yantra that they usually have, it looks a lot like my work as well, the Chikana, and just my work itself. But if you could picture this right here being the top of that pyramid that I just showed, or octahedron that I just showed you, and then picture this whole map that I have right here being flat, which is the living quarters that we're on. But it's different. The color codes is different levels of elevation and elements dealing with it. This right here, if you could picture this being the Great Pyramid, picture this whole thing being fractal and never ending pyramids inside of pyramids. You can put an infinite amount of pyramids, no matter how small, under this pyramid, and that could be the same exact shape of this pyramid itself, and that can never end. That's the definition. That's why I just dropped what I said yesterday about fractal, because it's a difference between fractal and fraction. But anyway, you can have, let's say there's 2 or 3 more pyramids just like this. These are all basically being put on a square. Every pyramid that you see across the earth, just about every, has a square base. And not only do they have a square base, but they have some communication once you look at them from an aerial perspective of 45 degrees. This is a fact, not fiction. So my point in showing that and saying that, to move on, is picture that and then look at my work now. This is the top of what you just saw. That pyramid light Sri yantra thing. I'm saying that this right here, this emoji that's on top of my work, is that pyramid. If you could think about what I'm saying, this is that pyramid. The top is right here. And so you put everything on a square. When you think about the Great Pyramids, Angkor Wat, these different things that were set up across the earth, monuments and stuff set up on the ley lines, as they tell you and show you, they're all aligned based on a grid. The grid that I've constructed myself based on my own work and discovery, this fractal grid, syncs up with every last one of those. And it's not by chance. And when I say syncs up, I'm not saying syncs up just like this looks like this looks like that. Even the measurements and numerical calculations, the geometry itself, completely perfect overlay. So you got that shown right there, and you could do that an infinite amount of times. That symbol right there could literally go, you can zoom in to another square and do the same thing with any square that you see there, because every square that you do see is the same thing. So this whole symbol, or this pyramid that you just saw right here, you could downscale the size and put it right inside of 4. You could put it right in front, right inside of 5. Any number that you see, you could go down even more and zoom in to one of the smallest squares that there is, and you could do that. And this is where I can't do any more work, and I have to put stuff in the computer. The computer has to pick up on the rest. And that's where I'm saying the ancients, as far as the Nazca lines, not only did they have flight technology, but that's where I've been saying they had some form of radar technology. Okay. Now, the number 54, that's what I'll go into next, because at the top of that pyramid, well, from that perspective, from that perspective of looking at that pyramid, all right. All right. Dang. Okay, now what I was saying was, as far as the number 54, this top right here of the pyramid, right here that you see, this top point, this point at that, realize that when you're looking at my work, this is an octahedron. So any angle that you look at it is going to be from the front, it's going to look exactly the same. From the top, it's going to look exactly the same. From the bottom, it's going to look exactly the same. From either four corners of the sides, it's going to look exactly the same, no matter what. So now let's just imagine that instead of this being right here on top of 0 and 9, it's on top of 4 and 5, because 4 and 5 is at the top. North pole aspect, whole compass is separated into 45 degrees. Okay, so 4 and 5 is the top. 4 and 5, that area that you see right there is the center. Okay, and there's a pole that runs through it, a center pole of the number 1 at that. Okay, 4 minus 5 equals 1. 5 minus 4 equals 1. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So 1 is that center aspect, that center pole. Right in between 4 and 5. You have a pole that runs through the center. So 4 and 5 is in the center. So imagine that you get on top of this 4 and 5 right here. What you would actually see that's amazing is you would see 0, 1, 2, 3. You would see this right here, but that's covered up. But anyway, you'll be looking at 4 and 5 from the top, and you would still see this. This is now the top of the pyramid, and 4 and 5 is going down into the ground and coming up at you vertically, straight to your face. So 4 and 5 is now here at the top and in the center. What's the whole point of bringing this up? Because when you look at 4 and 5 on my work, what's on top of 4 and 5? What is on top of 4 and 5 is the number 54. 5 and 4, it switches over. I'm attempting to find a good picture. The number 5 and 4 is on my work right there. It's at the top of it, as you can see right here. So my whole thing that I'm showing you is that if this right here is and the Nazca lines, mind you, were made to be viewed from the sky. All right. This right here is, let's say that this is the earth plane. This is the earth right here. One earth, right? Let's say that this whole thing is showing the earth, because everything fractal, the same thing is in the whole thing. And a piece of it at that. So 54 is on top of 4 and 5. That's the center pole. 4 and 5 would be the north pole. Basically, the pole that's running through. The ground line would be 0 and 9. 9 equals line. 54 is on top of 4 and 5, which would be what? The heavens is up above. If we're down here, the heavens is up above. And 54 is on top of that. And what I'm showing at the end of the day is, I told y'all, a 5-point star, which is the main thing that they use in rituals, whether white magic or black magic. A 5-point star is composed of 540 degrees. A pentagon at that. 540 degrees. That's the number 54 right there. Times 10 equals 540. Okay, so every time that you revolve or turn, in order to turn a star, a 5-point star from a congruent 5-point star at that, from an upright star to an inverted pentagram, you have to tilt it or turn it, revolve it 54 degrees exactly. Once you turn it 54 degrees, you're going from what's perceived as negative to what's perceived as positive, and it continues to 54 creates an oscillation. So the thing is, if you have 54, you have 5 and 4, and then you have 4 and 5. Down here, this 54 that I've been focusing on is what I've been saying, like the bottom of the bottom. That's why I've been saying what I've been saying. But what I'm showing you is, what did they say the Chicana is? The Chicana is a portal, as they say. But when y'all talking about portals and all of this different stuff, this is where the magic and stuff all happens. Why do they have you draw out a 5-point star on the ground? On the ground. And then do rituals with columns. These columns are candles, and you light the candles on fire. Columns that rise up into the air. What I'm showing you is that 4 and 5 is a column, and there are circles that you could create in it. This 54-degree 5 and 4 5-point star aspect of stuff with this magic and stuff is all dealing with opening a portal, as far as opening this column. The same type of column that y'all talk about as far as the aliens with the UFOs. It's the same type of thing. I'm trying to put that imagery in your head, at least. If you could imagine with magic and stuff like that, when people do messing with demons and stuff like that. That right there, the unseen realm, whenever you open something, that's what I'm saying is the imagery is much so like, but you can't see that with your eyes. That's what's going on, and that's how a door, so said, is open into your home or whatever place it is that you do what you do. So my whole point in saying that and showing that is that when they say it'll be done on the earth as it is in heaven, this is something that I found right here. And my ears are ringing after saying that. Mind you, there is spirits or a spirit in this house. So this is something I found. To the left, I don't own that picture. Of course, I didn't create that picture, but man, when I saw it, I said, man, that's exactly what I'm showing. I said, now I see it from a different perspective. So the number 54 is something. This is something. If the 5-point star was bad, you wouldn't see it throughout nature. In good instances, there's many flowers that are 5-point star, but they have good health benefits. The blueberry has a 5-point star at the bottom of it for its geometry with its leaves, right? It's one of the most healthiest berries out here that you can eat. Okay, even the apple seeds inside of an apple, when you cut open an apple, it has 5 seeds in it usually, positioned in that 5-point star, 54-degree angles. And this in itself, we know apples ain't bad. At least they started off explaining in some religions like they are. But this right here says a communication portal, right? You get what I'm saying? We know that the earth isn't like, or at least people say, you know, that the earth isn't like this, right? So just imagine everything. Like I say, I go freestyle. I picked the best order that I could. And when I look at this, I did exactly what I needed to do because I explained this already. I already have explained this whole energy thing as far as the pyramids, right? Pyramid earth. So you know that there are pyramids on the earth, but they not pyramids that's over a circle like that. I'm showing you a fractal map, and if the earth is flat, then it'll be like this. And you looking down at the earth right here, and the pyramids would be the apex of the pyramid is literally every X. Okay. And what I'm saying, this right here, instead of this being like this ball, if it was flat, exactly what they're communicating right here with this, a pyramid from heaven, and then a pyramid from earth, and a communication portal, a crossing and exchange of the both right here. That's what's going on with 45 and 54. So that's why I'm saying when it comes down to my work, I've been showing people that the Nazca lines, I've been putting that Nazca over 0 and 9. But my main thing is, see, the crazy thing is, if you were to get right here on top of 4 and 5, guess what would be behind 4 and 5 right here? If you're looking at this right here, pay attention to this, please. This pyramid, this triangle right here that I'm making. This in itself, if you looked at that and imagine that being the front of a pyramid, now let's say you start flying up in the sky, and you can get on top of this pyramid and look at it from the top. Now you know what you would see behind this 4 right here. It'll be a 5 on the other side. Behind this 5 right here, it'll be a 4 on the other side. Behind this 3 right here, it would be behind this 6 right here, it'll be a 3 on the other side, and the same thing continues. So basically, you see right here, this square from right here that I'm making to this 0 right here, down to this 9, this very square that you see right here. If you got the eyes and the mind to see, that's exactly what the pyramid would look like from a top view. Just think about it. That's all you have to do. That's exactly what you would be seeing. That's what's so amazing about that. But anyway, this right here, what I'm saying is I've been putting a Nazca Estrella over this 0 and 9 aspect. But what if, and what I'm learning, put it on top of this 4 and 5, 5 and 4, because the same geometry with this thing is the same geometry as this. Then you're no longer, both of them are all of them are connected. 0 and 9 and 4 and 5. It's showing a portal aspect. The link is between 0 and 9 is just like nothing. 9, none, 9, none. All right. And 4 and 5 is dealing with the physicality aspect. Real physicality. The body. Your body is 4 limbs and 1 head. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Your hands is 4 fingers and 1 thumb. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Okay, you built off of that very exact code, and when you ball up your fist, it literally makes the Fibonacci sequence into a square. Spiral. Your fingers. All right, now. So what I just said about 54 and 45 and the top of the pyramid is what I'll go to this right here next. This right here is a painting of a depiction of the great architect of the universe, as they call it. And as you can see right here, his hand is right on top of a pyramid. Right on top of a pyramid or compasses, all right, shaped into a 45-degree angle. All right. So that hand of so-called God, so-called, I'm not saying that this is what God looked like. I'm not saying that that's God, but this hand of so-called God, so-called, would be a hand down on this pyramid earth. If you're right here, if you're down here on 0 and 9 level, and his hand is right there on 4 and 5, his hand would be like the 54 on top of the 4 and 5, if you get what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to explain to you now is when you looked at that drawing and then look at other art like Michelangelo, Adam by Michelangelo, and what I was just saying as far as the man, I got so much work till it ain't funny, man. I mean, just I said I was gonna try to do 10 minutes before I started streaming, but I clearly that ain't happening. But anyway, this is what I was saying as far as the 4 and the 5. Of course, y'all have seen me put this over the 0 and 9, but once you put this over the 4 and 5, it explains a lot. But the hands of Adam and then touching God, all right, it's kind of like the 4 and the 5 us on earth reaching up to the heavens, information coming down from the heavens down to here, an exchange of information from God to a special or to a person that starts a ripple effect. Because Adam was the start of a ripple effect, so-called humanity. That's definite. I'm not saying that he's real, but I'm saying as far as how that story is explained, the way that things are wrapped up in the order, he was a ripple effect, the start of humanity. Without Adam in that Bible, the rest of the, nothing would have went on. But anyway, now I showed that in Adam, it just turns out that Adam, I just told y'all about the numbers 1 plus 4 equals 5. Well, A is the first letter. And what letter is D? D is the letter 4. I mean, D is the number 4. Okay. So right here you see Adam has 2 syllables. G is the 7th letter. All right. That's all the G, the square encompasses over here. All right. 7 times 4. G, which is the 7th letter, times 4 equals 28. 14 plus 14 equals 28. I have 28 blocks in my work. There are 28 squares per build within my work. All right. Adam is 2 syllables, AD, and then add 14 and 14, 1 4 and 1 4, because M is the 13th letter. A is the first letter. So you got 14, 1 4, and then 1 4. A equals 1, D equals 4. A equals 1, M equals 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. So 14 and 14, top and bottom, I have 14 on top and 14 on bottom. Add them. Add them, add them together, and you get 28. Creation starts from nothing, as they say, 0 point. At least that's how they explain it. So if it starts from nothing, 0 point, that's exactly what I'm showing with my work. My whole stuff wouldn't work without that 0. And I've been telling people that from the jump. This is the 0 and 9 right here. Now, as you can see right there, I got Anchor Watt. Dang it. I guess it just ain't time for that just yet. All right. Now, I've explained that as far as the number 54 and its exchange. So what I'm saying basically is the number 54, it's an exchange of information as well. Exchange. 54, when you tilt it, it's the term negative, positive, positive, negative. All right. Good. Coming to a wrap up now. Finna finish it up. All right, now, yeah, that definitely goes into the pixelated circle aspect. So now when it comes down to the pixelated circle and my last wrap ups on that, as far as my recent discoveries and what I've been working on. When it come down to the pixelated circle, this is what I've been showing y'all and telling y'all. Starting off with the pixelization of a circle, you have this going on. And you have to think TV pixels. The more pixels that are in your TV, the clearer the image is. See, our reality, what pixel image, what is the pixelization of our reality, what we look at through? If you question that, can't really put nothing on there, right? Right. This right here is the aspect of pixelization of a circle. Okay. Because everything starts from a dot. That dot is that square in the center. This is what my work starts off as. Starts off as a square / dot. And what I'm getting at is as you continue to expand that, you see how this right here can expand farther and farther and end up looking more so like this. The more that you expand the pixelization of the circle, the clearer it gets. The harder it is to tell that there are squares making up that circle. So you could keep on adding these squares and it makes circles, all right? Or makes a circle. So what I did was I pixelated the earth because that's what I'm trying to explain to people. If you pixelate the earth, you're going to get this same thing going on here. And what they were showing as far as the Nazca lines, they have everything as far as the pixelization of a circle within that stuff. If you turn everything here now into a grid of squares, and then you think about how the Nazca lines is what it is, the same thing I just showed you as far as the pixelization of a circle, that center square, the box opening that it starts from, that's the Nazca lines. So all of these squares that you see here, I'm not saying that those are the energy grid of the earth because I know that that's not a fact. But what I am telling you is that these squares, knowing the original scale of the squares, it could help you figure out the rest of the size of the earth, as well as place stuff on in its correct position relative to, true north or whatever, the center. So if you zoomed in, if you could, which I cannot anymore, I don't think. Well, yeah, if you could zoom in on these squares, South America is over here in this area. As you can see, it's squares right there. But this could go on infinitely. I could continue to zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it would be based on the square. Now, do you see over here as far as this line, the lines that y'all see on the flat earth map, you see how they make a 45-degree angle going in? That's very, very important. These are the same exact lines that y'all say are ley lines, or have been taught by others that they're ley lines. That right there, when pixelated, it makes a perfect staircase of 45, and that will never stop. That will never end or change. You can't change that. That's a constant because that's a straight line. So this very line, what it would do is, of course, it helps you, whatever line this is on, it's going to help you align to true north. So the same thing will go for over here, whatever line it is, just like this one coming that's closest to the Nazca, that's where the energy is pointing towards north. That's comprehensible. But I know that those lines, I ain't going to even get into that. They're not the late lines. That's all I can say on that. It ain't all I could say, but it's definitely more I could prove. Or I mean to say that it is all I could say, or all I will say, but it's definitely more I could prove. This is the Nazca lines right here. I actually put it right over the top of it. So you got the pixelated circle, and then you can see the Chicana. So the pixelization of a circle, as you can see, is right down here. You start off with a square, and then you get this thing, which is the open box. That's what you see right here. The square that you start off with, which is the dot synonymous, is where? Right here. The dot is still right there. So this square that you see right here, where my eye is at on the work, what is in the center of your eye? A dot. That's why I put my eye. So that dot right there is dealing with the eye. Without your eyes, you wouldn't ever be able to see or do any of this. So all of this right here that you see as far as pixelization of a circle, this then turns into this up here. And if you kept that going infinitely, you end up with a very smooth circle. So this right here is the beginning of the pixelization of a circle that they were showing. Just like if you have an explosion or something start off and it, or a ripple effect, if you drop something, not an explosion, a better example would be a ripple effect. If you drop a drop of water in some form of flat water, is going to create a ripple effect from a center point. And this very mathematics is really, to be honest, is explaining that ripple effect energy, starting off from a point and then expanding out. And I am going to say that due to my own reasoning, other people do not have to agree. I was just in the shower thinking, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm at the stance right now. I don't believe in an infinite universe. I don't think that the universe is infinite based on my own facts that I've come across. Based on facts. I'm not saying that it is a fact, but I'm saying based on the facts that I witness in this reality and what I've studied and meditated on, is not infinite. It's finite, but the life here, the light, if anything is infinite, that's what's infinite. All right. Now, with that being shown right there, I love this one. I ain't gonna lie. So that's the Chicana right here. So if you can look at the Chicana, which I've been showing y'all, that's exact. How many steps? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The outside, you got 1, 2, 3. And then you got 1, 2, 3. They call this an Egyptian mandala. Not Egyptian, but Buddhist mandala. And I'm showing through my own work that that's not where it is. It's closer to South America, actually. It's actually in South America, better to say. So it's in South America. It's not nowhere near the Buddhist and, China, India, nothing like that. Now, with that being shown, you have on those, like I said, with the pyramid and the pixelated circle and everything. Now, as far as the Nazca lines, like I said and showed, this right here is down here. This is South America. Nazca could be approximately somewhere in this area, somewhere in here, pointed towards the north. So these are all squares, pixelated squares. When you zoom in, see, when you zoom out, you wouldn't see this. We all know that you would not see this. The creator does not see or would not see a bunch of squares, all right? I'm never saying that the creator sees a bunch of squares or that we see squares or things like that. But what I am showing you, the fact is that there's a grid to this reality that nothing can escape. How so? How so? This is a grid that expands in every direction, 360 degrees, and you have the choice to go. The grid is, you got the choice to go front and back, which is a straight line. You always, no matter what, you have a straight line of front and back. You also have a straight line of side to side that you could choose to go. And you have a straight line, of course, of up and down. This is the grid right here. Because you have an infinite choice. It's not a grid that's set up and like you got to walk through life based on these lines. You get the free will to choose this grid of life to go and choose and walk wherever you want to. That grid that you walk into, like literally, if you start walking a straight line and there's people that's next to you and y'all all in a straight line and y'all start walking straight, y'all literally are going to make lines straight. If there's another set of people that come from the other side, straight horizontally in front of you, then they end up making the line straight. You can do this and turn anyway and do the same thing and make that grid. What you have to realize is that just like you got a left eye and a right eye, you got left and right, period. And this is infinitely everywhere. This is a revolving grid that can change just like your mind can. And it's of course the grid, the mathematics, the square aspect, that's what stays constant. And this goes for not just you, but this goes from macro to micro. Even germs, they have a front with germs / bacteria, things like that, microscopic organisms. They have a front that they can go to, and they have a back that they can go to. They have a left or a right. They may not be aware of this, but this is a fact about reality. You got this 180-degree line that exists everywhere, can be made anywhere, micro and macro. The only thing I'm going to say as far as can be made anywhere, I'm going to be real, because I don't see that happening up in the sky. What I do see happening is a bunch of circles being made, spirals and stuff like that. No lines besides a shooting star, which really can't be defined as a line then. But anyway, as you can see over here with the Nazca sun star, this is exactly what I was, dang it. This is what I was just showing. As far as this right here. It's the same thing. So a pixelated circle, you zoom into the earth. If you zoom all the way down there to where Nazca is at, right here in this area where my cursor is at, this is what you would see. Because as you zoom in on the TV, it's super clear far away, right? Let's say that the creator watches the earth and it's a clear picture. But he zooms in on the earth, i.e. we zoom in on the TV, you get your face super close to the TV, put water on the screen or something like that, and you see the pixels pop up. It's not so clear anymore. It's rigid now. Now you see pixels. Now you see what is the grid that every image that you see moving through infinitely in every way, all of the colors that make up images and stuff, they choose each and move every way possible. Now you can see the very grid that these colors are moving on in the first place. And if it wasn't for this grid, everything would be out of whack. It wouldn't be possible. So that's what I'm saying. Everything is in line. So this right here is that. And let me see. Dang. So being that that's the Nazca lines, that's one thing, right? The other thing I pulled up, which I already pulled up on accident, was this, which is Angkor Wat. So boom, I got one thing that's on one side of the earth. That's the South America. That's South America. Here's Angkor Wat, and when I zoom in, this is all based on the same map. Now, mind you, I just said it's fractal. I showed y'all the pyramid first starting off. You're looking at the pyramid from the top view, the very center of it. What would be? What would be? This right here could be a pyramid that just doesn't have a pyramid. But the highest point of this whole thing, still just like a pyramid, is right here where my cursor is at. And that's for a reason. This right here that you see, these four corners, are exactly what you see with 0 and 9 at the center of my work. It's the exact same thing. So if you're talking about an underlying energy grid that the ancients built things on, I'm showing it to you right here, the factual one. This is no game. There's no reason. It's not just made up that these ancient monuments that I wasn't even around to construct back then, every ancient monument that you could even think about that I could put on top of this map, just like that. Even not the monuments, but stuff that was supposed to be built, like the Nazca line, stuff that was getting ready to be built, or a message to the future for us to build now. It's still there. So it's right here. Exact same thing is here. Yeah, I tried to put it back there in a faded type of view so you could see it actually, how it lands right. Is you see the 9 is right there. You see that this right here is right here. You see that 9 in the background faded out just like this. What's in the center of 9? The corner of that building. How about the bottom corner of the building? Is it in the center of 0? It looks like it. What about the other 9 over here in the corner for this side on this? Looks like it. Right there in the center. 4 and 5 right there. Just like that. You see them right there. It's right there. How about the top corner? Right there on top of it. So what happens when you zoom out at Angkor Wat right here if my grid was still there? Well, when you do that, you get to see what? More of the earth, right? Okay, you get to see more of the earth. You get to see what? Then more continents, right? More land, more water, all of that. What I'm saying is that same map, you don't have to change anything to it. It's based on the exact same code, and that's the map that I've been drawing out. It never changes, and therefore, once you keep on zooming out and you get to reach the rest of those lands and you see the rest of those lands, what man, this is perfect and amazing. Because when you zoomed out, eventually you'll be able to see South America. And once you go over to South America and zoom in over there, especially based on this, everything is staying the same. And this is in some technological device that I've invented. And these numbers right here stay exactly on Angkor Wat, like they are placed exact because it's perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. You literally can see that it should literally look like it's supposed to be like that. You would eventually be able to see Nazca. And once you go over there and zoom in, being that this is in the grid don't change, nothing has to move at all. Once you get over to Nazca, being that this is in this perfect exact place that it's supposed to be, every other monument that there is in the world, that goes for the Great Pyramids, that goes for Nazca, that goes for all of those, every single last monument, every one of them will line up perfect, just like that, revolving around that north aspect. It's that simple. That's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm showing you that once I put this inside of a techno, I really don't have to put it in the device. It's really once I find out, it ain't what you know, it's who you know a lot of times. But once I find out whatever even software I could put it in, I could do that. It's going to take a lot of math, but guess what it's going to? It's going to show the real shape of the earth. Because once you zoom out that far, you can't do this without, you can't do it without showing the real shape of the earth. That's what's so amazing about it. Ain't nobody else been able to do that, bro. And if you can't even comprehend how to be showing the shape of the earth, proving the real shape of the earth, you just shortcoming and you're going to catch up eventually. You got no choice but to if you're going to continue down the road of knowledge. I wouldn't be able to just do this and show this like this if it meant nothing. From not just one place as if it were luck, but two distinct different places on the earth. And what's so funny to me about this as well, as far as the Nazca lines and this right here that you see on the screen, as far as Angkor Wat, there's something called an antipode that was talked about and brought up in the past, and I mentioned it actually, where they talked about on the globe, Angkor Wat is at the exact opposite side of Nazca. That's why I say I'm not going to be stupid. I got to consider and look at both sides, flat earth and globe. I'm the one who figuring it out. Not just based on, what I, but not just figuring it, proving it. That way it ain't no more arguments. Because after this, it ain't no more argument. What happens when it ain't no more argument? When it ain't no more debates? You can't debate it no more, and it's mathematically been proven, not just mathematically, but then you now see this symbol, and now you understand symbols like the Hunab Ku, which is mentioned. You understand symbols like cosmology. You even understand more of the real truth about the Masonic square and compasses, which no Freemason has ever been able to tell you or show you. They don't even know this. This is a fact. They don't even know this. How do I know that for a fact? Because you can't show me one person on the earth that's drawing this exact code. Put this out here. And without this map, what I'm showing y'all is that you can't build these like this without this exact map. You can't you couldn't have built the monuments to be exactly where they're supposed to be without this exact map. And then the thing is, that's where I'm saying the ancients, boy, they was ahead of their time. Because what happened to the map? If it was around and somebody created it back then, what happened? What happened? Because from my gnosis, you cannot create this right here without the correct. Oh, it's just like a blueprint of a house. You need the blueprint in order to build correctly, efficiently, line things up correctly. It's amazing, man. Excuses. So the last thing, and this is one of my favorite songs actually, or favorite music duo recently, Empire of the Sun. I noticed this in their stuff. I be looking at everything, man. Pay attention to some of everything. This tree that they got back here, this tree is at a 45-degree angle, just about real close to it. And this, of course, is green. This is my work right here, the number one. This right here is this one, if you wondered. This number one right here for the whole project, though. So yeah, I just thought, 0 and 9, two pairs, and then you got them, two vines. Everything is based on two. Everything in this world is based on symmetry. There's no such. That's what man. You have to. That's what I don't get about people as well. You hear more people talking about as above and so below, but I never hear people talking about, man, everything is mirrored side to side. Real talk. On one side, you got the same thing that's on the other, is just opposite. It's the exact same thing, though. Just like human being, you got man and you got woman. Their functionalities is opposite, obviously, but they the exact same thing. They both humans. So everything in this world, realize you got a pair as well. Every man got a pair. Every woman, you got a couple, a match, so to say. Every man and woman got a match. Now, the last thing I'm gonna show is on the DNA thing is, oh yeah, the CERN thing is important too. But the Great Pyramids is the last thing, and then CERN. And I'm through. I'm literally through. I bounce. So the Great Pyramid, this is the last thing that I'm studying. I got to get this figured out. It's not one. Now the Egyptians, they were so smart in the head. I mean, they was advanced, man. Every culture was advanced. I'll give them that. But the Egyptians, man, they were so cryptic and man, it's crazy. It's crazy. They was very they I mean, I love how they did it with the Fibonacci spiral. This right here, this, you see how this has a center pyramid right here, and then you got three small pyramids in front of the big pyramid of Giza. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the same thing continues over here. You got a big pyramid, and then you got 1, 2, 3. So they're showing you the spiraling right there. So basically, if this is it's like a puzzle. If this right here was a pyramid that's small with 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is a pyramid right here that's small and it got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you got a right angle that's made. So you got a right angle, and then you should have to make another right angle, and then it'll be another 3, 3, 3 somewhere. Where at mathematically, I ain't mapped that out, but I'm not saying that that's what's the case or that there's anything architecturally built there that's significant of any sort. But I am saying that that's the pattern that's going on there, because the same way it could go out, spiral out, and be bigger, it also could have continued to be smaller with another right angle. And that pyramid would have been more so like over here in this area, something like that. Something like that after a right angle. About yeah, like right there, something like that. Something about over here, 9. That's the end right there. 4 and 5. But yeah, that their layout is very, very mysterious. I gotta figure that out. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got that just yet. It'll be a while before I get that probably. But the last thing is CERN, and I'm through. And there really ain't too much to have to say about that. Now, whatever you think the CERN is and things, the portals and um, time travel, different people have their thoughts and stuff like that. Hmm. So you see how CERN has an octagon? The octagon is based on 45-degree angles. All right. Now the exterior angles are 135 degrees for an octagon, but 1 plus 3 equals 4, and then you got the last digit, which equals 5. And this also goes for the rest of the compass. Just like from 45 degrees, you end up with 90. From 90, you end up with 135. All right. And you keep on going from there. And the same thing, 315 is the other ones. You got, so you see this octagon going on here. These green dots that you see right here, that these lines land on, I've been emphasizing so much. If you look at my work, it lands right on 1 and 8. 1 and 8. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 make up one octagon with 8 points, and it's congruent. Those numbers, when you zoom into my work, as far as possible, you have a square that's right here. So we got one square that's right here. That square is this square of number 4 that's cut up into 45-degree angles. Right down here like that with an X straight across. Right down here with an X straight across. You got a green dot that's in the center of this triangle. Right there. And a line coming from the pupil. You got a green square, number 1, inside of a triangle. All right? Right in the center. And that'll be coming down to the eye, to the pupil. Same angle, same everything. 1 and 8. It's all a mathematical code. All of them make a perfect octagon. An octagon has 8 sides and is separated into 45 degrees. That's all I had to show y'all today, man. This has been, what was the title of the shit? I think that's my first time cussing this time too. So dope. 50, the number 54, and what was it? Let's remember. Memory test, strength of memory. The pixelated circle update. Done greatly. This CERN thing is so huge, man. I didn't realize it was that big, but it is huge. And then it's crazy because the octagon is really made through perspective. It's really going into it, just like the eye. They say it's a hole in your eye. Yeah, that's a trip, man. That's on point. That's some on point work right there. So now, last thing I would like to say is when it come down to this pixelated circle, the next steps is now to create an actual device. Either a device or you first off, it'll probably have to start with the basics of getting into some type of digital software or something like that. But that device right there, what would be the purpose of it? I've been explaining it. This would then, whatever the ancient, it's an architectural blueprint device for ancient monuments, and it deals with the ley lines. This is a fact. The Nazca lines I did earlier had that pulled up, showing where the Nazca lines look exactly like the ley lines, as far as all of the different lines hidden different places. But I ain't gonna show that right now. I'm finna get out of here for now. Um, just making sure I don't leave nothing. That ain't a good one to pull up as far as the Nazca lines or ley lines. I thought I sent the better one. But yeah, the thing is, I'm not copying any ancestors. That's what's so funny about it. I've never seen anybody put 0, 1, 2, 3. If anything, the number 0 wasn't so-called discovered as math in mathematics until a certain time around, the start of so I discovered something very important with it, because without it, my work wouldn't be able to exist. And all I'm saying and showing right here is, like I said at the beginning, I don't know how many heavens, I don't know how many nothing is above. I darn sure ain't trying to figure out too much of them, nothing about below. But what I can show you and factually say is, if you pulled out your phone right now, and if you went to any computer, and if you typed in Mayan cosmology, you gonna find something that look exactly like, almost like my work. It just ain't got the exact mathematics. But it just turns out that these mathematics turn out to be so important. Because if I would have added 1 square to my grid, that you just saw as far as Nazca, the Nazca Estrella Sun Star I just showed, lined up perfect. That I just showed as far as Angkor Wat, lined up perfect. And the Great Pyramids is next. I wouldn't have been able to do it if I added 1 square to my whole setup. It would have threw everything off. This right here is Vedic cosmology. If that ain't clear and very much similar, it ain't at a 45-degree angle, but it's the exact same type of communication that one could think of. All I'm saying is that every ancient culture has something very much similar to what I'm showing, and I'm not copying them. But it just turns out, the fact that I'm not copying them, and I've discovered some mathematics that ain't nobody's talked about 4.5, 45-degree angle like that at all. Better yet, had the name 45 degree, or it's all reason to name them. So when it comes down to that, what I am doing is picking up on their steps for the next generation. I'm not just copying them, I'm picking up on their steps. I'm picking up on the path that they paved for us, adding new to it, and not just adding new stuff just because it sounds good, but adding facts to it. Because it ain't too many black people that have went down for discovering anything mathematical, if at all, that I can even remember. I ain't ever been taught anything about any black man that's discovered something mathematical precise, like a E equals MC squared. When you hear about stuff like that, or A squared plus B squared equals C squared, that's a formula that is noted to a name of a white man. It ain't about the color like that. But as far as my people that was on this land, I'm really, in my sense, I got reasons I'm stopping saying my people. But I just realized these are the same colors as my work too. My bad. I'm off it. Like, that's the same. I put blue first, then I put green, then I put yellow, 7 and 2, 4 and 5. What type of shit? That's crazy. But yeah, man, as far as you know, I'm paving the path for the future. And I already got things set up. This is this is just the beginning, man. It's been a long beginning too. But that's it, man. To the 0, 1, 2 viewers that came through, I appreciate you. And until next time, man. Until next time, be safe. Mine's I. You was 1. Carlos. You was 1. Shout out to you. I really don't want to say like that. I don't think CERN have something to do with something as well, because they just launched it back up last month. Ever since, I've been kind of losing my mind. I ain't even paid attention to when they be doing stuff, to be honest. Fire spill already, man. I appreciate y'all too coming through, man. I certainly do. Pixels/crystals. Yep. Pitch 4. I appreciate you, Mons. Thanks, man. Inner tube, the earth's dome, the crystal ceiling. I try not to miss nothing. Motherboard capacitor. So, yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm gonna definitely look out for stuff like that to see, man. Because me, in my opinion, I'm just gonna say, whenever they do get ready to switch over to full 5G or whatever it is they're gonna do, or technology change over shit, whatever's going on, they're gonna have to shut stuff down like a blackout. That's where that whole, I don't know whether y'all remember when they did in 2017 that phone tap. They tapped everybody, well, almost everybody phone. They hit everybody phone when Donald Trump was a president, and said that it was gonna be a electrical some shit happened the next year. It never happened. But I feel like that was some sort of a sign. And I just thought about that a couple of weeks ago. I was like, man, I remember when they did that, but they never, like, what was the point when so many people probably didn't trash their phones by now, lost their phones? So whatever that was that they was doing, I never made a video about it right then. I don't even, to be real, I know I just brought that up in relation to that. And yes, I do still sense, based on logic, it's going to be a blackout before they switch over the technology to a higher level. But I think my blackout was when I died. I did have something came and got me like an autopilot. You had well, not NDE, but actual experience. I'm glad you made it out, man. That's real talk, bro. Even though this world crazy to come back to, but yeah, man. Whatever they was doing back then, I think that they was looking for some people. That's what I figured out. I said because they never even fell through with that shit. Nothing happened as far as a blackout with the electricity. All I know is I pay attention to what they was talking about before they did that, indictments and stuff like that. So whatever it was that they was doing, it ain't had nothing to do with no blackouts or nothing. They was doing that to find some people. That's why they tapped everybody or hit everybody's phone. You think you ain't no telling, man. Hey, ain't no telling, bro. Shit, hey, me myself, I might have multiple reasons. When you type cryptic like I do, move like I move, ain't no telling, man. But I ain't gonna stay here and chat, man. I got work to do, definitely. Y'all stay safe, bro. And until next time, I try not to be too frequent like I used to, but I always come back when I got facts and something important. And next time I show up, it'll definitely be important, if not more important. But peace out.